turn everyone against us. Dayon was taken aback, nodding immediately. Master is right. I've overthought this. As they were discussing, Vicky and 3 members of the Song family were ushered in. Upon seeing Vicky, Sean's face lit up with desire. He warmly extended his hand towards Barton, saying, Elder Song, I didn't expect you to arrive first. On behalf of the Clarence family, I am extremely grateful. You are? Barton hesitated. Sean quickly responded, Elder Song, I'm Sean of the Clarence family. This time, my Asher's illness depends on you. You should know, this Dayon has no medical ethics, along with Otto who shamelessly claimed he wouldn't treat my Asher. People like them are a disgrace to the medical community. Ah, it's young Master Clarence. Is someone in your family ill? Barton asked with a smile. Sean immediately adopted a sad expression and nodded. Alexis, my Asher fell seriously ill 2 weeks ago and lost consciousness. He's now in a vegetative state. I was just about to call you when the 3 of you arrived unexpectedly. The Clarence family will never forget your kindness. Regarding consultation fees, we won't be ambiguous. As long as you can save my Asher, I'm willing to pay 10 million yuan for treatment. Barton frowned and sternly said, whoever is responsible, remember to call Song Jun later and avoid associating with unprincipled people. Tomas immediately nodded. Sure, Damien. Suddenly, Wiley interjected, Desi Clarence, I believe you misunderstood. We aren't here to treat anyone. Then why did you come? Sean was suddenly puzzled. Barton stepped forward, walking to the front of Otto, and bowed respectfully, saying, Barker, I am the old man Barton. I failed to recognize your greatness just now. Please do not blame me. This time we asked President Jaren to bring us here because we actually have a favor to ask of Barker. Otto calmly said, the Huichun Buladen? Barton immediately showed joy on his face and nodded. Indeed, Master's insight is truly remarkable. It's for this very matter. Otto smiled and said, the formula is a simple thing, but this isn't the right occasion. Barton immediately responded, you're right. My excitement got the better of me. Barker, how about we find a quiet place to discuss it in detail now? Beside him, Sean, no matter how foolish, understood the situation. His face instantly turned pale, and he angrily shouted, you're not here to treat my Asher? Barton lifted his head and looked at the furious Sean, saying, when did I say I was here to treat anyone? Moreover, you brat, are your eyes blind? Or is there something wrong with your brain? The great physician Master Otto stands before you, and you show no respect whatsoever. Instead, you mock him endlessly. Do you think people in the medical field can be bullied so easily? Wiley also chuckled lightly. Damien, some people being blind is perfectly normal. Tomas, out of kindness, looked at Sean and said, to put it bluntly, if Barker refuses to treat, then none of you can help. We apologize. Sean roared angrily, you're too ruthless. Someone. As he spoke, an elderly servant suddenly blocked Sean's path and whispered, Desi, don't act rashly. The Song family and Dayon have significant connections and influence. Don't offend them. Remember, you still have several other young masters ahead of you. Sean's fury subsided instantly. His face turned red with frustration, and he felt immense regret. If only I had known Otto was so formidable, why would I have offended him? And that Adam family, claiming this kid was just an ordinary intern? What a grudge this stirs. At this moment, Barton made a respectful gesture, inviting Otto, Barker please, let's find a place to talk in detail now. Otto pondered for a moment and said, previously, your Song family acted arrogantly, and frankly, I wasn't inclined to talk with you. However, since you've brought Yuching along, it seems you've calmed her down. Considering your sincerity, let's talk. Stopping at the door, Otto paused and turned around, saying, Desi Clarence, start preparing for the aftermath. Chapter 39 Guidance for the Song family. Leaving the Clarence family residence, Dayon couldn't help but ask, Master, I wonder what exactly is Mr. Sean's illness? Could you explain it a bit? Barton suddenly paused when he heard this, looking at Dayon and then said, Old Clarence, you are indeed fortunate to be able to study under Barker. Beside them, Vicky was completely baffled. This was her blind date partner? This was her best friend's nephew? This was the young master of the Andrew family who had gone missing? What had he learned in these 20 years? At this moment, Vicky felt somewhat puzzled. After all, Dayon was the renowned holy hand of Jiangzhou. As for the Song family, they didn't need to be mentioned. Each generation's most outstanding offspring automatically became the current alchemy king of the Song family. A man in his 60s bowing to a man in his 20s as a master, not only wasn't laughed at, but he even looked envious. Right at that moment, cries sounded from inside the villa. Faint words like, Grandpa, why did you die? Or Damien, wake up could be heard. Barton's expression changed again, and he raised his thumb, saying, Barker, I admire your skills. Tomas added with a smile. They say Yama makes one die by the 3rd watch. Who would dare to let someone live until the 5th? Barker is even more formidable. If Barker says he should die, then he must die. Praise aside, the few people, including Dayon, were actually quite shocked. Humans are very peculiar beings. Clarence can be incredibly resilient yet also very fragile. Unexpected events, car accidents, or an accidental stab could mean the end. On the other hand, when it comes to fragility, life can also be remarkably strong. As medical practitioners, estimating a person's lifespan was within their capacity. But Otto could directly declare life or death. Initially, they thought Otto was speaking generally about no hope and preparing for the aftermath. However, hearing the cries from inside the villa, they realized they had underestimated him. Vicky smiled and said, Everyone, why don't we find a place to discuss further? The group quickly left Rongxing Yufu and found a high-class, quiet, and comfortable tea house within the city. The Song family, flush with wealth, immediately booked the entire place. In the private room, as the waiter served tea, the 3 members of the Song family suddenly knelt before Otto on one knee. Barton said sincerely, Barker, I apologize for offending you earlier. Please forgive us. We plead for your mercy regarding the elixir formula. Their attitude was clear. Even Otto felt slightly embarrassed. He was such a person. He didn't know how to react when treated with respect. But if they treated him disrespectfully, then too bad. He would show them what strength meant. At this moment, Barton said, Initially, we 3 had doubts when General Manager Jaren mentioned that the Shugong Denian formula originated from you. But today, after meeting you, my brothers and I are thoroughly convinced. Master, our Song family has strived all our lives to complete the Huichun Buladen formula. Now that we've finally seen hope, please instruct us, Wiley said reverently. Huichun Buladen? Otto felt speechless internally. Such a lousy elixir formula. In the Xintian records, it was just an ordinary thing. Alexit, the Song family valued it so much. Seeing the earnest looks on the faces of the 3 before him, Otto glanced at Vicky. Yuching, did these old fellows ask for too much just now? Before Vicky could respond, the three Song men looked pleadingly at her. At this moment, Vicky felt immensely comfortable, as if she had eaten ice watermelon on a scorching summer day. Calent's establishing UNG technology, she had lacked core technology and had suffered a lot because of the formulas. She never expected that her blind date partner, this young husband, would turn out to be so capable. Then, Vicky smiled. Barker, no, there wasn't any exorbitant request. I have already reached a cooperation agreement with the Song family. They will provide me with the skincare formula free of charge and supply herbs for UNG technology. However, if you feel it's inappropriate, I can cancel the cooperation with the Song family immediately and return the formula. After speaking, Vicky turned to Barton. Mr. Song, rest assured, the formula is still in my password-protected box. I can assure you, no one at UNG Technology has seen it. Barton immediately replied, Mrs. Andrew, you're joking. Once a contract is signed, there's no backing out. Regardless of whether Barker agrees, the formula belongs to you, Mrs. Andrew, and the Song family will unconditionally provide raw materials to UNG Technology. Otto was quite satisfied with the situation. Though he was a bit older, it came with its advantages. Most importantly, she understood his needs and was considerate. Just now, if Vicky had only said that the contract was signed, he wouldn't have said anything. But Vicky directly stated her stance. If you're unwilling, I can halt cooperation. Look at this. This is what being understanding means. Moreover, Otto was also pleased with the three from the Song family. Although they sought something from him, not everyone had their level of resolve. After pondering for a moment, Otto nodded and said, all right, old Clarence, go out for a bit. I need to chat with them. Calence, it was the Song family's secret formula. Daeon immediately left the room. Otto then turned to Barton and said, actually, you've already completed the Huichun Buladen formula. You just made a mistake with the ingredients. The most important part is the pearl. It must be Ruperju, Eastern Pearl. Moreover, the dosage should not exceed 5G. Remember, excess can be as harmful as deficiency. Sometimes it's like this. When you know how, it's not difficult. When you don't, it's very hard. Without a breakthrough, everything seems extremely challenging. Alexit sometimes, it's just a tiny difference that can lead to a huge disparity. Barton suddenly slammed the table, standing up excitedly. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. How could I have missed it? At this point, Barton knelt down again. Barker, words can't express my gratitude. From now on, you are the Song family's greatest benefactor. Otto smiled and said, please bring old Clarence back in. As Daeon re-entered, Barton and the other two relaxed visibly. Tomas curiously asked, Barker, old Clarence asked earlier, what exactly was the condition of that person? I took a look but couldn't figure it out. Daeon also became curious. Alexi's master, what happened? Otto laughed heartily and was about to speak when suddenly the door was kicked open from the outside. Sean, leading a group of thugs, stood menacingly at the doorway. Sean's face was exceptionally dark. He walked into the room and said, Old Song, Ms. Jaren, this matter has nothing to do with you. Please step aside. Daeon immediately frowned and said sternly, Sean, what are you planning to do? Sean sneered, what am I planning to do? I want you all to bury my Asher. Pointing at Otto, Sean continued, you bastard dog, you did this on purpose. You used your medical skills to pretend to treat while letting him die. Calence Myasher is dead. You will join him in death. Chapter 40 Sean's backer. Sean, you dare. At this moment, Barton stepped forward. With a look of anger on his face and standing proud, he had an air of authority about him as he looked at Sean and said in a deep voice, the Clarenson family truly acts lawlessly. I wonder if you, Sean, can speak for the Clarenson family? Tomas sneered coldly. What a grand display of power. I must spread the word among my peers today and let everyone see the true colors of the Clarenson family. Wiley also chimed in. I've really seen it all now. Is this how the Clarenson family behaves? Anyone who doesn't know might think you, Sean, are the head of the Clarenson family. How ridiculous to vent your anger on doctors. This is the first time I've heard such nonsense. The three men from the Song family were genuinely indignant. On one hand, as peers, Sean's actions undoubtedly angered everyone. No one had seen anyone behave like this before. Death was common to any doctor. Without seeing death, one wouldn't even have the nerve to call themselves a doctor. If one blamed the doctors for every death, who would dare practice medicine? On the other hand, the three wanted to show their sincerity in front of Otto. Sean's expression was rather grim as he said in a low voice, Old Master Song, this matter has nothing to do with you. I'm only after this kid. Ridiculous. Daeon said angrily, I need to ask the Lord of Jiangzhou when doctors became punching bags. Vicky also said coldly, Desi Clarenson, you dare lay a hand on my husband? I, Vicky, am not someone to be trifled with either. But Otto laughed heartily. Thank you, old Clarence, old Master Song. As he spoke, Otto walked over to Vicky and put his arm around her shoulder. The intimate gesture made Sean incredibly angry and jealous. What did this damn guy have that attracted so many women? Sean, don't get me wrong, aren't you just looking for a fight? Come on then. Vicky anxiously exclaimed, Otto. Don't worry, these trash won't be a problem, Otto reassured her, whispering in her ear, Yuching anti-wife. Those words made Vicky's face flush red. He's so bad. What did he say? Why, Yuching anti-wife? Am I old? Besides, what's an anti-wife? I'm not your aunt, just your cousin's close friend. While they were talking, there was another screeching of car brakes at the entrance. Glancing over, many cars drove up to the door. All black Range Rovers, about a dozen or so in total. Sean laughed lightly. Otto, I know you're skilled, but can you take on one man? Can you take on 10? I have more than 100 people here. Today, just spit from each person could drown you. Vicky suddenly grabbed Otto's hand tightly, feeling nervous. Otto frowned and glanced at Sean with an unfriendly look. If things couldn't be settled peacefully today, he would grab Sean first. Catching the leader first always worked. That way, Sean would surely cherish his life. But the next moment, Otto's frown eased when he saw a familiar figure, Waylon. Sure enough, Waylon strolled in lazily wearing slippers, followed by dozens of well-dressed bodyguards who looked highly trained. I hear some blind fools want to touch my brother? Is that right? Even before he arrived, Waylon's voice echoed through. Vicky's expression changed as she whispered, Husband, it's Waylon. This person isn't easy to deal with, reportedly from a powerful family in the capital city. Just as Vicky was surprised, Waylon walked up to Otto. Giannis, you're being unfair. You didn't tell your Giannis you when trouble came. Luckily, I got the news and rushed over. Waylon, what are you doing? Don't push your luck. I respect you as a member of the Yu family, but don't forget, this is Jiangzhou. Remember, No matter how strong a